Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of Longchamp. Jean Castigray, the CEO, and Sophie Delafont there. Today, we here with our marketing group have created a perfect strategy for Longchamp to best innovate itself, best change its branding towards the future, and the best characterize itself when addressing new customers. So you can obviously see here who are our dedicated members of this group who have focused day in and day out for the past few months to best create a strategy that you should use when changing your brand's identity. Now passing on to my partner, she will explain to you the segmentations and the rest of it.
Hi, so Longchamp considers itself a traditional luxury brand. It's known for its leather goods and, of course, the iconic Le Pliage. But the brand itself and Le Pliage target very different segments because of their huge price difference. Le Pliage has three main consumer segments. One, wealthy females who buy it solely for the utilitarian purposes it provides. Two, women in the middle social class who buy it in order to feel luxurious because they can't afford other traditional luxury products. And third, younger people like students who would buy it because it's trendy and useful since it's lightweight but still sturdy, and of course because of the low price. Alternatively, Longchamp targets older upper and upper middle class people who would buy it as a status symbol because they can afford it. Some research we did told us that in 2014, a lot of Longchamp sales were from China. Moreover, we found that approximately 80% of the Longchamp products that were bought by Chinese customers were actually brought outside of China. Therefore, a massive consumer segment for Longchamp is Chinese tourists who buy products in other places in the world. Therefore, both Longchamp and Le Pliage use geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral segmentation. Now I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Chloe, who's going to talk about targeting.
We have different target market for Longchamp and Le Pliage. The target segment for Le Pliage is young, middle-class female in Europe and Asia, and the target market for Longchamp is the upper-class middle-aged female in Europe and Asia. For Longchamp, due to its elegant design, material, and pricing, it's more attractive for middle-aged women with certain economic strengths. Because compared with other, this segment are more willing to pay and buy traditional luxury brands because of showing their status and tastes. In this segmentation, the competitors are traditional luxury brands like LV, Hermes. The cons are the competitors are mature and have a long history as well as occupy a large part of the market. It is difficult for Longchamp to compete with them. The pros are Longchamp products price are not expensive as other brands, so it's more attractive for customers are not really rich. The brand was also known for its iconic product Le Pliage. The feature of the Le Pliage is relatively cheap, fashionable, made with both nylon and leather materials. It is lightweight and easy to fold and extend. Its feature mostly attract consumers from middle-class young female because an easily affordable designer bag from luxury brands also has a fashion look that strictly cater for their needs. In this segmentation of Le Pliage, the competitors are Toy Branch and Michael Kors. These two brands occupies most of the market share in North America, especially in the United States. The drawback of the target market is that the consumers in this segmentation are not sticky enough and turn to seek other brands. For the advantage, Le Pliage have a more practical and functional design and a more accessible brand image. Lastly, the geographic segmentations. In Europe and Asia, the brand uses the concession model to manage its own brand shop within a wholesale store. Revenue in concession outlets would sometimes be triple what they were in wholesale outlets. Therefore, Europe and the Asia markets are more attractive due to its more profit, management power, and less powerful competitors. Now let's transfer to Hiao to introduce the positioning part.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I will analyze the positioning that the company already made for both Longchamp brand itself and the iconic product Le Pliage. I will recommend the company to take a split strategy. I will illustrate further following. For Longchamp, as my team explained, most customers are mainly from Europe and Asia, but they are shopping overseas. I highly recommend the company to be more focused on Asia-Europe market, such as build more flagship in this area. For Le Plage, because most of Le Plage customers are middle-class young female, the pricing strategy of Le Plage is divided into mainly two categories price based on the different materials used on the bag. First, Le Plage was selling cheap for nylon texture due to the particular segment Le Plage our target cares about both fashion and price. Also, the company issued laser-trimmed Le Plage sold for a higher price because there are also some wealthier customers who cares about a better material and willing to pay more for it. For Longchamp, the customers are upper-class middle-aged female who don't really care about the price, so they can set a higher price than La Plage series does. Moreover, La Plage bags are focusing on function also. La Plage series of foldable bags, the feature of folding helps it to differentiate from other brands. Both nylon and leather are durable materials, so the bag will not break when it contains a lot. I highly recommend the company to keep utilitarian function, live with fashion design. In conclusion, the company should take a split strategy. First, Longchamp and La Plage series are using different pricing strategy. Like most of Longchamp's traditional bags are selling for a much expensive price than La Plage does. Secondly, the demographic targeting are also different. La Plage is focusing on young middle-class female, while Longchamp is more focused on traditional middle-aged female who are wealthy. However, La Plage cannot live without Longchamp's distribution channel, so we recommend La Plage become a child brand of Longchamp, which is the La Plage by Longchamp, to have both sharing the same facilities while targeting different market segments. And here is the position statement for La Plage, and the following is for Longchamp. Now hand to my partners to illustrate 4 Ps for again.
Now we move on to the 4 Ps that we are recommending to the executive board of Longchamp. We would like to suggest that you split the product line into luxury versus accessible luxury, where essentially all of Longchamp's products that are priced at higher ends than the Le Plage are put into luxury, while as the Le Plage, which is priced at much cheaper costs, is put into accessible luxury. We also observed that there was a strategy that was introducing various colors and various design to extend the product life cycle. We believe that it is imperative that Longchamp and Le Plage continues with this strategy to extend the product life cycle. It is also very important that Le Plage remains a handcrafted product, because as we explained in the positioning, it is one of its main unique selling propositions, its main differentiation factors from the competitors. And Longchamp's luxury product status will help Le Plage in its sales, because as we just said, it is priced as a good of accessible luxury, but that status of accessible luxury comes from Longchamp's, from Le Plage's association with Longchamp, which is in itself a luxury brand. Now moving on to price. It is important that our pricing strategy is for Le Plage is according to the accessible luxury product. Now, when we price it at lower prices than a normal luxury product, and we price it as an accessible luxury product, it allows us to target a much larger market, whereas luxury products generally target niche markets. Now, this allows us for mass marketing and a larger market to be appealed. Hence, we believe that sales can be increased through this. Also, it is very important that we do not confuse Le Plage's a low pricing success as a standard that we can use across Longchamp's other product lines, because Longchamp's luxury status essentially also comes from pricing. When we are pricing the other products at higher ends, it does give a sense of luxury. Whereas if Longchamp starts pricing all of its products at a cheap price, at accessible luxury prices, it will, regardless of design or brand, it will lose the luxury status that it possesses. Moving on to place, which my colleague Dimitri will.
Longchamp has made available their products in over 100 different nations through 1,500 various different distribution channels, such as wholesales, concession models, and flagship stores. And what's interesting about Longchamp is that it changes its distribution channel based off location. For instance, in America, they do a more wholesales distribution channels through various department stores. And in Europe and Asia, they rent space within department stores through a more concessions model. Right? And concessions models have proven to be more effective than wholesales, at times tripling the revenue of wholesales outlets. And of course, the flagship stores. They are run directly by Longchamp. They are the big advertisements. They bring the image, the branding of Longchamp being a luxury brand, as they are on the most decorated streets for luxury items. You know, Regent Street in London, Champs-Élysées in Paris. They are the cornerstone of not just distribution, but of branding. And that's why we want to focus more upon the concessions models and the flagship stores, since we want the concessions models to be more control. We want Longchamp to control the experience with customers more. We want Longchamp to have more control over how their product is branded, how is it perceived, how is it viewed, and how is the experience when going into a Longchamp store when they want to buy any of the products. Of course, as we move on to, of course, we have to talk about Longchamp's promotion. What is it positioning now? Right now, Longchamp is in a very peculiar position with the brand. While attempting to become a traditional luxury, their most popular items in accessible luxury, of course, being Le Blèche, right? This has created an identity crisis, sort of, with Longchamp, as it's really hard to perceive the actual image that they want to give out in comparison to what they receive, right? So it has to change its imagery. It has to change how it addresses consumers. It's not just a luxury good. It's artisanship. It's been a cultural phenomenon. It's been a cultural heritage. It's a living heritage in Paris, in France. So it has to advertise not just about being one with the luxury. It's about being part of the artisanship. It needs to be more open of a promotion. That's what we want to change within Longchamp. We want to make it a more open luxury, something that makes it more warm, more personal, more connected than other luxuries. And of course, as we have a more socially conscious and more personal imagery, it will introduce more people who want to feel good about buying luxury. Not just feel rich, not just feel great, but feel good, socially aware. Of course, we can work with different various artists, or we can make more exclusive Le Plage bags, which can increase its exclusivity, which can make it more luxurious and more of a luxury brand. We can, of course, change how we advertise things through social media and based off other things such as luxury clothing, partnering with popular actors, models, singers, etc., to make limited edition products. Of course, by increasing our social awareness, we will in fact create a more wholesome brand and create something that is truly unique here in Longchamp.